Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, Proto, and today's topic, Easter, the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the destruction of our Savior to fulfill his purpose on earth. Many people question whether or not Jesus was real and whether or not the faith is actually real. There are several factors to think about when people discourage the faith or are very sarcastic to really accept the faith or not. The real question is you have to ask and break it down into several different things. One of the things I like to really examine is that when Jesus went into the tomb, there were about 16 Roman guards, and they were highly trained guards. The Pharisees and the Sadducees went to Pontius Pilate and said, hey, we need a guard unit because his apostles are going to steal his body away, and then it's going to make him look like he's actually real, and what he said was going to happen, and we don't want this, you don't want this, and Pontius Pilate agreed. So he set a guard unit out there, and there was no way that the apostles were going to go there and get him out of there. Think about it. They would have to sneak past 16 well-trained guards, and that's just not going to happen. Two, let's not forget that after Jesus' death, the apostles were persecuted and somewhat hunted down. It may not have been that intense, but they definitely denied Jesus when he was on trial, several of them at least, and they tried to hang their heads low and stay under the radar because they didn't want to be persecuted and crucified with Christ. So they were extremely cowardly. 3 days later, they decided to start up the church and become heroes. Now, from zero coward to hero in an instant is kind of unthinkable within such a short period of time, but that's what occurred. So that's just another factual evidence that I like to look at. Number three, let's not forget how many people were testifying that Jesus was resurrected. This wasn't a grouping of random people who just said, oh yeah, Jesus this, Jesus that. And if you were going to try and make Jesus look real for whatever reason, you would definitely want to get a group together that actually knew each other to testify, and not all these random Jewish people and people that were of prominent society that actually knew of Jesus, and as well as several people who just encountered him in passing. So that's another fact. Number four, there were a lot of conversions within a short period of time after Christ's resurrection. One day it was 5,000, another day it was 10,000. That's a very, very large amount of conversions right after the resurrection. Why? Probably because Jesus appeared to all these people. And there are tales telling that Jesus actually ate with them and talked with them after the 3-day period. So that's number one. Number five, and I think this is the one that really seals the deal for me. Back in that time period, women had a very low status, and it's really odd that the account of how Jesus was actually found to be resurrected was by a woman, because in that day women told tales and they were very disrespected and not held highly. So when the fact comes out that the women were the ones who found him first, it really gives credit, because if you were trying to make Jesus' story be real, you would definitely not choose women to discredit the story, because people would naturally say back then, oh, women saw it first, discredit, whatever, women don't know what they're talking about. So you would use a man, but they used women. So just another nail in the coffin for personally me. I really appreciate a lot of the research that goes into finding these facts. You can always go ahead and use that powerful tool, Google, but I do very much insist that you gotta check your facts. If your first website reference is Wiki and you're like, well, that's it, I'm converted, I'm a Christian now, I think your faith's going to be a little bit shaky there, and you don't have much of a background to lean on. Now, if you do go to several websites, and I do suggest you go to historical websites, you don't have to go to only Christian websites, because you need to see both sides of the argument. If you go to several of these websites and do your own research, within a day you'll come up with some comparable material. Now, I've done my research for many years and just piled things on top of each other and come up with some few reasons. There's many, many more out there, but these few reasons are just kind of the tip of the iceberg that really seals the deal. And the iceberg below is just huge. So, if you guys are interested in looking more deeply into this, I very much encourage you to. And as a fellow Christian, I would like to wish you a happy Easter. And God bless everyone out there, every one of your families. And even to someone who is not Christian, I invite you to celebrate Easter in a church. Or with God, at least. There's many radio program shows, there's many TV shows, and you can probably Google a program on YouTube nowadays. So it's that simple, guys. If you're looking for God, He's there. And what better time to ask for Christ's love and forgiveness than on Easter Sunday. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Proto, and I've been your host. Have a good day, and God bless.